Welcome to BW Businessworld. Today we are here at BW Education's Leadership Summit 2023. I have with me Ms. Aishwarya Rao, who is Director Academics and Administration, the Vivekalaya Group of Institutions. Welcome, Ms. Rao.
Thank you for having me. It's
So
wonderful.
good to have you. Tell us about your journey as a leader in this industry and what transformation did you see in the last 2 to 3 years in the whole ecosystem?
So this has been my 11th year in the field of education. So we've just completed a decade and it has been a monumental, almost life-changing journey, I would say. Especially over the last 2-3 years when we've had to deal with the pandemic and how that changed the entire script of education, I would say. So we were teaching and learning in a manner that we thought could not be altered, and we thought there was only way to deliver education, only one way to deliver education. And the pandemic really shifted that around and made us explore new avenues. And the one thing that I found that was amazing through it is that we realized that this was something that we would work to keep going, that we would not disrupt a child's education. So everybody got on board and kind of took that forward. So for me, I would say the importance of education was what was highlighted in the course of the last 2-3 years.
Right. And despite any of the roadblocks we had, the educators in the ecosystem have come forward to take it through and do not disrupt
it. So
yeah, that's right. So good to know that you've just completed your decade and more than that even. We're talking now about innovating and then getting some more new strategies in order to deliver more to the students. What do you have to say? How do you feel to be an innovative schooling in that areas per se?
So I think today, across spectrums, it's not just education, that we have to be innovative. We have to be innovative to deliver content, we have to be innovative to keep people engaged, and we have to stay innovative to kind of go forward. So it's being demanded from us no matter what what you're doing or what department you belong to. Education is one of those that has taken new strides, I would say, because we've been following a system that was set so long ago that may not really adapt anymore to the new world because the world has changed so much. So one of the aspects in which I think we are innovative is that we are inclusive. So we teach all kinds of learners, whether you have special needs or you don't, or you have learning difficulties or not, you are included in a safe and inclusive setting. So you have regular learners and you have children who have learning difficulties, and I think it's innovative because you're able to take care of each one's needs, and it acknowledges that each one's need is different. Right? So this is one of the few things that we have at our school which kind of defines what we do in education. But outside of that, I think every year we come up with projects, we come up with subjects, we come up with activities that are new, so to keep our children entertained, to keep them active and to keep the learning constructive. So one of the things that we did during the pandemic that really worked was we sent our children home learners kits. So this means whichever class you belong to, depending on which class you belong to, you got a kit that was learning based, that would connect to your subject or to what you were going to study for that particular year. So maybe you were a science student and you got a science kit because you didn't have a lab at home. So you were sent the material. So that through the online course, you could do your little experiment that was safe, of course, in your home and learn from it. So this is something that we did that was quite different. I don't know how many other people did, but I would say that's something quite new in education.
So good to know. Talking about innovation and like disrupting or let's say keep evolving our strategies in order to deliver more. How has your perspective evolved in the last 2 years, if I could say, from the education perspective? Did you witness a change in your perspective? Of course you did, but what more?
I think there was a shift in importance, not just a change in perspective, because in education I think we took a lot of things for granted. We always thought there will be schools, there will be teachers, there will be children. Children were never going to stop coming to schools. And then especially in a country like ours where maybe we've not dealt with too much war or calamity, we take a lot of things for granted, right? So one of the things that really changed for us, I think, the last few years, we realized that everything is at risk. Anything can be at risk, right?
That's right.
So it changes what importance you place on it. So it's no longer ever a question of, oh, we don't do this year, we'll do it next year. It's a question of, okay, you know what, next year, what if I'm not able to do this with my children? Let me do it this year. So I think the value of time and the value of connection, those are the two things that I find has really changed or really
Good to know.
shifted.
So this was something about that was went behind in the last 2 to 3 years. But moving forward, we are right now in the first month of the year. What are your plans with the institutions and the schools? And going ahead, if you are coming up with our new programs, new strategies, what are those? Tell us about that.
So I think this is the first year academically and functionally, fully functionally, where I think the NEP policy is coming into effect in a lot of states. Ours is a little bit more delayed from where I come, but I think we're all looking forward to putting that into practice and seeing what the outcomes of that is. So there's a lot of adjustment that happens. There's a lot of change in our, in our headspaces and how our parents' headspaces are as well. So I think that is something that we're going to adopt and see through this year and see how the delivery of that is going to change the life of a child or change their perception.
Good to know. My final question. What is your personal philosophy as a leader? You have already spent your 11 long years in the industry. What would you say? What is your personal philosophy as an educator or let's say as an enabler in the industry?
So I would always say I'm somebody who's deeply vested in change. I happen to be in education. It seemed to be a calling that I was not aware of when I started out, but it became something that I grew to be deeply passionate about. So I look forward to bringing change to our country because I'm also deeply patriotic. And I think India is an amazing country where our youth are ready to be taken forward, right? So if I were to be described as somebody, I would say somebody that's, like I said, vested in change, vested in progress, and vested in making the best and bringing the best to the children of our country. So that's where I would say that.
So good to know. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.